The legacy media continue to report the violence in Iran right now as mere protests, citing economic reasons for the people's uprising while downplaying the mass casualties. The first 10 days of chaos and violence were blacked out by the media in the world. But don't be fooled. This is a full-blown revolution. This is a war between the people of Iran and the Islamic regime, an oppressive, authoritarian, and murderous dictatorship that has been the main sponsor of terrorism throughout the world, a force of evil and death for almost half a century, and which is now close to being uprooted and eliminated. Before collapsing, it may still launch a last strike in the free world. The Ayatollah already called for the death of President Trump, and sleeper cells might be willing to unleash terror around the world. The Iranian people lost their country and freedom during the Islamic Revolution of 1979, which installed the theocratic Shia regime of the Ayatollahs in power and drowned the country into blood, pain, and persecution. Overnight, the democratic, modern, culturally rich, and free Iran became another branch of Islamic hell. Now, 47 years later, Iranians are fighting for their lives with stones and Molotov cocktails. The Iranian currency has been completely devalued. The government shut down the banking system, and people lost access to their money. Water, electric power, and food chains are cut down. Elon Musk announced free Starlink satellite service to Iranians for internet, but the Iranian government is sending agents to confiscate the satellite dishes from citizens. After cutting internet and communication in Iran, the government went on to kill 12,000 civilians on the street, as a defect government member leaked. However, the numbers could be as high as 20,000, according to independent humanitarian sources. It's been a bloodbath of horrific proportions, with government snipers shooting people at random on the crowds, police on motorcycles on the streets firing on civilians, and then invading hospitals and executing the victims. Today, the IRGC began the summary execution of prisoners by hanging.
Irfan Soltani's family say he's scheduled to be executed by the authorities in Iran sometime tomorrow. He's 26, and the decision is apparently final. There's no appeal. But if the death sentence is carried out, it's believed it may be the first following Iran's brutal crackdown on anti-government dissent after more than 2 weeks of nationwide street protests. Human rights organizations are warning his case could signal the start of mass executions targeting demonstrators.
The Iranian People Revolution comes as a culmination of a series of events after October 7th, when the IRGC lost its terrorist arms in the region, the Houthis in Yemen, the Hamas in Gaza, and Hezbollah in Lebanon, then declared war on Israel and was bombarded by Israel and the U.S. The removal of the Venezuelan dictator Nicolás Maduro signaled to the world that the U.S. wouldn't tolerate terrorism anymore. Despite being gunned down night after night, the brave people of Iran continue to defy all odds, burning down the institutions and symbols of the Islamic regime. More than 25 mosques were destroyed, and government buildings were overtaken. Iranians are chanting for the return of the Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi and pleading for the help of President Trump.
جناب رئیس جمهور آمریکا، آقای ترامپ، ما ارتشی‌ها و تمام مردم ایران منتظریم که ما رو نجات بدید و از شر این رژیم ظالم رها کنیم تا بتونیم ایران رو از نو بسازیم و همونطوری که راجع به آمریکا میگی ما هم می‌خواهیم که بگیم to make Iran great again.
The prince, who was exiled in 1979 along with his family, has been a leader of the uprising from afar, coordinating the strategy, gaining political support in the West, exposing the hurt of the Iranian people, and preparing to enable a transition of power back to the people.
I'm a fighter pilot. I've trained all my life for exactly this moment, and people are calling on me to step in and lead this transition. The Iranians are prepared to die for this cause, and so am I.
Thank you so much for all your words of support for my compatriots in the darkest time in our history. This is probably the first time we are so close to victory. We hope that the Iranian people will this time have complete freedom, and the choice will be theirs. We are here to serve them to make that choice in freedom, and that's my commitment. And thank you for your support, Senator.
Thank you. And President Trump, thank you for picking the people over the Ayatollah. You're the first one to do that. Thank you for acknowledging that the only way you can make Iran great again is for the protesters to win over the regime. And I believe that day is at hand. And to the American people, it matters to us. This is the largest state sponsor of terrorism on the planet. They have American blood on their hands. And the people protesting in the streets could be our best friends. God bless them.
God bless the United States of America and the American friends, and God bless the Iranian people.
The President Trump promised to act against the Iranian regime if they killed civilians.
Is the line there for when the U.S. is going to get involved in those protests?
We'll take a look. We're watching it very closely. If they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States. They've started shooting the hell out of people, and all of a sudden people without any weapons whatsoever are standing there and you have machine guns gunning them down, or they take them to prisons and then hang them and kill them. So they played rough, and I said, if they do that, we're going to hit them very hard. It looks like they're killing a lot of people, but it has not been confirmed. I'll know very soon.
Do you want to see democracy in Iran?
Ideally, I'd like to see it, but what we want to see is we don't want to see people killed, and we want to see a little bit of freedom for these people. These people have been living in hell for a long time. And by the way, to all Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions if possible, and save the name of the killers and the abusers that are abusing you. And all I say to them is help is on its way.
Americans woke up this morning and they saw that you said help is on the way.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, there's a lot of help on the way, and in different forms, including economic help from our standpoint.
On that point, you did say the U.S. would get involved if Iran started killing protesters. Yeah. They have, by the many thousands, according to reports.
Well, we'll see what that is. I've heard 2 numbers, but we'll see what that is.
Well, now we're hearing that they're going to start hanging protesters tomorrow. So it comes back to the question, have they crossed your red line, or has the line moved?
I haven't heard about the hanging. If they hang them, we will take very strong action. If they do such a thing, we will take very strong action.
European countries have condemned the IRGC for the murders. Multiple countries called back their Iranian ambassadors, and the U.S. asked Americans to leave the country. Israel remains in security alert, with the military ready to defend an attack, and the city shelters stocked. Both Trump and Pahlavi have publicly called the Iranian people to remain fighting, while the U.S. military has been maneuvering in the last days. The Islamic Iranian regime is about to fall. Pray for the suffering people of Iran, whose only hope for survival is to finally win over death and terror. Pray we will see God's wrath against the evil in the Middle East, and that His mercy and loving kindness will be poured over the victims of the Iranian regime. Pray and keep praying that our Lord Jesus Christ will free the world from this unspeakable horror and bring His kingdom to His people on His own time.